Today's episode is brought to you by CBD Lion. This is the best CBD on the planet, third-party tested, family-owned, and they have so many kick-ass products. Right now, they got a brand new vegan CBD gummy. Yes, vegan CBD gummies available at cbdlion.com. Use the code DEAN. Do not sleep. I use CBD Lion every day. I've been using it for over a year and a half now, and I can't live without it. You got anxiety, trouble sleeping, you got some joint ache, CBD Lion is going to help you. 20% off with the code DEAN. I love these guys. Go to cbdlion.com. Also, pick up some goodies for your pet. You got a dog that's cuckoo? Cuckoo. Give him some CBD Lion. That dog will be in heaven. I'm telling you. They got the tinctures, the topicals, the hemp flower. They have the full broad spectrum products. Third party tested. No truck stop bullshit. Get the cbdlion.com. Use the code DEAN. All right. Winded on that, man. I got all crazy on it. Anyway, here we are. It is Monday, May 17th. Great guest today. We have Emily Armstrong from Dead Sara. Yes, you heard it right. Dead Sara. 18 years of grinding. Out there doing it. Dropped a new single recently. Hands Up. Working on a new album. Also, just posted up some new tour dates, and one of them is with Jane's Addiction and Metallica. Louder Than Life Festival in Kentucky. So yeah, some shit is starting to open up. All kinds of crazy tours are being announced. And Dead Sara's in the middle of it with their brand new record getting ready to come out. Cannot wait to hear that. Sat down with Emily. It was amazing to talk to her. She is a killer singer, killer songwriter. You remember their record in 2012. It was everywhere. They had that single Weatherman. They did all kinds of great tours with like the Used and Chevelle, Bush, and Muse. They were on the Vans Warped Tour. They were doing it, and they're still doing it. I'm going to bring on Emily here in a minute. I do want to tell you guys a big thank you. Not tell you guys, but give you guys a big thank you for supporting my venture, Cactus Radio Podcast Network. We are, in the third week of this, and it has been grinding the shit out of my brain. Not a lot of sleep going on, tons of work, lots of stress, trying to get comedy and podcasting to align to where it's just flowing. Sometimes you just work too much and all of a sudden something pays the price, like I was talking about a couple weeks ago. But it seems like I'm starting to get a wrangle on it now. Dark Fonzie is rocking. The At Home with Byron Katie is rocking. The Grail is rocking. And Let There Be Talk, of course, 10 years in. They're all on cactusradionetwork.com. My podcast network is live. Tell people about it. Subscribe to all the shows. Support and enjoy it. I'm over here peeking on this. I'm drinking this drink, Recess. I'm hooked on it. I'm drinking the peach ginger. I fucking love this shit. Hemp extract, American ginseng, and theanine or whatever, some shit I can't pronounce, and lemon balm. I drink it and I just get cooking. Stuff is so good. Recess. Killer fucking name. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Cactus Radio Network is happening. My Patreon is in full effect. I've been doing all these Zoom fests now all through the pandemic, and I've been loving it. You can join on patreon.com/Dean Del Rey, 105 bonus episodes, and all kinds of other fun stuff on there. But most of all, you can hang out with me on Zoom once a week and other Del Raisers, and we fucking shoot the shit about movies or records or comedy or life. And it's a good time. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. I'm going to be in Alameda this weekend. Second headlining show. Not second. I think it's like third or fourth since the pandemic. Headlining 4 shows. Alameda Comedy Club in the Bay Area. That's going to be interesting. Their shows were all sold out because they were outdoors, but now they've moved them indoors, so there's some tickets left. And you can go to my website, deandelray.com, to get some tickets this Friday and Saturday at the Alameda Comedy Club. Macy Isaacs will be featuring for me, and we will be up there slinging some jokes and seeing some old friends. I can't wait to see some old friends up there. It's always great to go to the Bay Area, eat some fucking quesadillas at El Farolito. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's about, I would say, 30% back to normal, maybe 40. Did the Comedy Store all weekend. That was incredible. Did the Laugh Factory, did some outdoor shows. Bill Burr and I did a church. Thank you, Jimmy Shin, for having us. And, trying to get fucking funny. Trying to get funny. It's starting to feel a little better, right, people? Is it feeling a little better? I think so. I think there's a less anger in the air, and it just feels a little better. Oh man, I tell you, it's been a wild ride, and it's great to talk to musicians and comedians and artists and hear their take on the pandemic and what was going on in their lives. I recorded this Dead Sara, Emily Armstrong episode months ago. And I've been stacking all these episodes during COVID because I didn't know when or where I was going to get to do the podcast again, in person. So enjoy this and look out for their new record and go check the new single. It's been out for a few months now, but it's great. Hands up. And thank you so much, everybody, for taking the ride here on the Cactus Radio Network. I am Dean Del Rey, and you are the listener. Let's do it. Candles lit. What area are you in?
Highland Park.
Oh, HP, a little Mark Maron land out there. Ex-Mark Maron land.
That's right. I was told that. Literally, when people kept saying, yeah, he lives out there. He's like, I see him all the time. I'm like, I've never seen him once. So I doubt he lives up here anymore.
Well, he lived there for years and years and years. And
yeah.
He definitely stomped those grounds. I think he was the mayor of of Highland Park for a while.
Yeah, and I've been here almost 3 years. Never seen him.
How do you like it?
Fucking love it, dude. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Like being from Hollywood, and then I basically got run out of Hollywood. It was just so I didn't live in a bad place at all, and I was renting from a friend of mine, and it just got to the point where I was like, my car was getting, broken into at least twice. It's like within 6 years I was living at this place, I just saw the Hollywood just become more and more of a fucking shithole. Like back in the day when it was like the 90s, like early 90s and stuff like that, like late 80s, like when I was a kid, yeah. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. And then it's like gone really good, like over the past years. And then it's just been going down again so hard. So the past, and I was just like, I can't live here anymore. I think I'm going to go fucking insane, and the homelessness too. It's so unfortunate.
I know what you're saying. I played music in the 80s and the 90s in Hollywood, and it was crazy, but you're young and you're just like, yeah, wild, junkies. Yeah. But it also came with $200 apartments and,
exactly.
And rock and roll. And then Yeah, after the Olympics came in, they cleaned it up and it kind of stayed clean for about 20 years. And then the rents were going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And, I moved here 22 years ago to get out of San Francisco because the rents were crazy. And I was like, God, LA is a deal.
So crazy.
Look at this. You get $1,200. You got like a full giant 2-bedroom. And now it's like even pandemic. It's like, oh, it's 2,500 for something good. Yeah, it's
so fucking ridiculous.
It really is.
Like you can get a house in fucking Highland Park for that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's what we're doing. Yeah.
You ever thought of moving somewhere else?
Plenty of times.
Yeah. I just asked that during the pandemic, a lot of people moving, and they're like, I'm moving. And a lot of people work at home. And if you're not touring, you can just record wherever you live.
Yeah, it's true. Except for, we're all like the band is from LA. So like, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, we're going back home. And I'm like, fuck, man, I hate that. Like, I wish I could just fucking go home. You know what I mean? Like I'm stuck here. There's such a safety to that, like, especially in the pandemic, like the beginning of it all, when I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And we were literally just about to go in the studio right before this happened too. Like, that's like, we were ready. We were doing some pre-pro and everything with our producer, Noah Shane. And then we were literally stuck to our houses. We couldn't really just be like, okay, we're going to up and leave. Like, no, we're going to figure this out. We're literally on a fucking roll right now. We need to get in the studio.
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit to figure out, but basically what happened was we did record, like you were saying, from like our respective homes, our individual parts for a song that's not out yet. It's going to be on our new album called Lovers. And we individually did our own take on it, like, so Sean sent over the drums, I did my guitar part and sang, and Susie did her guitars, and our bass player, our friend Ryan, did his, bass on it. And then we sent it to Warner and we said, dude, can we post this? Like, this is, this is what we're doing right now. We're just kind of, cause we saw a lot of other bands doing it, we're like, that's pretty cool. Awesome. Like trying to figure out what the fuck we're going to keep us, kind of rehearsing, but not really in a room. And I think that was the video that they were like, oh shit, no, you guys could fucking start. You can do this. Like, you guys need to start recording now. Like, this sounds fucking great. And they're like, no, let's hold off on putting that out because it's a new song. And, we're like, oh, okay, totally. But we just want, we want to fucking record. And so they were just like, anything you need, basically. And they got us recording equipment and shit. And we're literally recording out of our fucking rehearsal space right now, and it's sounding great. We did 4 songs and we just send everything to Noah, our producer, and we go back and forth that way. And he does all the treatment and mixing. And sorry, I just got ahead. I don't know why.
No, it's great. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's great to hear everybody's take on the pandemic in the art world.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian, and it's brutal for me because I don't want to do any Zoom shows. That's just goofy. You're in front. It's like you and I right now, and I'm trying to get you to laugh. And there's a hair delay, And then I said,
oh no!
I sit there and look at you, and you either like, oh, it's
It's brutal.
Yeah. With bands, there is at least there is a outlet of course, live. You miss that live energy, but you can still do records. I couldn't really do a comedy record with no audience.
Right.
So bizarre, actually.
Yeah.
Just talk the jokes and go, here's the record. You laugh in the spots. It's
oh, dude. Yeah.
Is that how Hands Up came about? You guys were just doing this and you decided to drop one and get some fire going?
Basically, yeah. Like, we had finished that. That was one of the songs that we were in the middle of pre-production. There was 4 particular that we actually just finished. They're sitting there waiting, ready to go. But Hands Up was, it's funny, that one kind of came out the fastest. It was written the fastest. It was our buddy Ryan, who's playing bass with us right now. He co-wrote it. He had that riff and we just kind of fucking took it from there, and it just snowballed. And we literally wrote that in like a day and a half. And it was like, fuck yeah, this is killer, So that became like the the first for everything. That's like, if we're going to play a show, or if we're, we've done some online stuff, like that's going to be the first one. It was always like the breaker, like the icebreaker kind of a song, because it was really good. It just has that kind of energy. And obviously we're excited about it because it's something new, to get behind and stuff. And so it just made sense as the first song to come out too,
Yeah.
It was just that's basically. And we recorded that in our rehearsal spot. And like our drummer Sean, he's also co-producing the album. And he's getting all into that like fucking tech world,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
and it's very new to him, like it is, but it isn't. He just watches all kinds of fucking tutorials and shit, and how to get certain sounds. And so it's really fun to have that guy, because I'm not that person. Like I'll show up and I'll fucking write, and try to give as much vibe as possible. And but he's him and Noah obviously are our producer, so they go back and forth with like, no, this is what you need, like, oh, this is gonna fucking sound killer on this kick drum, and this is gonna sound sick on Emily's vocals. And I'm like, okay, and I'll try it and I'll be like, not really, or fuck, that's fucking sick, dude. So I love that we have that.
Well, you got the time,
going
and
for us.
also,
Yeah.
also it's not a $1 zillion studio where you're like,
Exactly.
I don't know, we're spending money, let's just get the hell out of here. I think we got it. And then later you're like, well, we should have spent a little more time. It's that double-edged sword. Sometimes you got too much time at home recording. I know guys that have been working on records, their home recording record for like 10 years. And you're like, hey, dude, you're not, Dark Side of the Moon was made, I think, in 6 weeks. Just put it out.
Yeah.
But there
Chinese
is also
democracy.
right. There is that thing though of being able to sit with it for about a month and go, and I'm not digging this chorus here. Let's dump the bridge or whatever,
Dude, exactly. That's fucking exactly. We're letting these songs breathe before we even let other people hear it. And there's something so great about that, because being truly fucking honest with ourselves and putting in so much work and so much time, sometimes you're so deep in it, you dive into it and you've written probably 40 different fucking courses, and you can get burnt out and you're like, I think it sounds great. Like I fucking love it, and you revisit it. Like we just kind of like put it away for a week and we start working on another one. We go back to it. It's either like, oh shit, no, this shit slaps. Like, let's just fucking finish it up. Or just like, whoa, what were we thinking? Let's go back to the first goddamn course that we ever fucking wrote for this song. And it's great,
Yeah.
But you're right. It's the time right now. It's like, we never had like this kind of, there still is pressure on it, but just enough to kind of,
Yeah. Keep you moving.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and there's going to be something good at the end of it. Like if we finish it, we have such good people around us now too, that we don't want to let them down. But, what it all comes down to is just integrity, integrity in the music, and integrity in like, if we feel like it's the fucking right, vibe, or if it's the right fucking song, or like we're going to let people hear this, we want it to be the best we possibly can. And really having this time was like, holy shit, I didn't realize like this is what was needed. You know what I mean? Not the pandemic. I'm just saying like the time,
Right.
And people backing you up, for everything, and like anything that we need, like they'll help us out, It's so fucking great.
Your band is rare. I mean, I come from an era where if you're signed on a label and then you're, dropped, or you leave, or you battle, that's pretty much it for that band. That's the era I come from. They're like, well, they were on Geffen, 3 records got dropped. No one touches them again. You guys are very lucky. You were on Epic, and then now you're on Warner's. So how does this all go down? Because you guys are booming. You come out of the gate, you're crushing it. You got the big single Weatherman, and you're touring and everything's good. And then around 14, it just kind of falls apart. What happens there?
Well, on that first album cycle, the first album, it was just us, we obviously had like publishing and stuff like that would help us, and we signed, I think it was Fontana at the time, to help us, like a one cycle, you know. And then from there, you know, unfortunately, management get a little, you know, they didn't really have success in another artist. So they were kind of grabbing in other things without our consent or knowledge. And so that kind of created, that was like the start of it, you know, where I was just like, fuck, I can't trust people. That's weird. You know?
mean money wise, they were grabbing money.
Or just like other opportunities that didn't really, you know, like that was like, oh shit, that's kind of shitty, man. Like, why don't you just tell us that, you know, like what you're doing. And that's actually how we signed to Epic, was we didn't know that our management was working there too as an A&R.
Oh,
so you know what I mean?
Oh,
so shit like that.
Right.
And so
inside trade and shit.
Yeah. So, you know, that's where it all began. And, you know, at least they gave us like it was like $500,000 or some, I don't know, to do a record, or that's how much we ended up spending. But,
that's an old school kind of budget.
I know. I feel like I'm getting the numbers wrong now that I said it out loud, or I'm not allowed to say it. Right. One or the other. I just felt instantly guilty for saying it. And it was just my conscience somewhere. Yeah. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for that. Anyway, but anyway, so it was kind of like that thing. And we were like, fuck, okay, well, if we have money, let's rent a fucking mansion and just record it in a mansion. And that's what we did. We went down to Zuma, and wow. And our producer, Noah Shane, worked his fucking tail off to build a studio in this, you know, this huge ass house mansion. Like, we were like, fuck yeah, this is like old school, like this is what we've always wanted to do, like the fucking Stones and shit. Except for we're not in France, you know. We're in Malibu.
You're not making Exile like, in a $2 mansion with your own money. They're already rich, you know. Actually, they weren't rich because they got ripped off from their,
that's right,
and they were on tax evasion. So I hear you, but there is that mansion dream of making a record. You know, the Trent Reznors, the all of those ones you heard of the years, even the
Fleetwood Mac too, I think. U2, Zeppelin, right. I think
Zeppelin.
That drum in that foyer, fucking sick.
I just recently saw a photo of that mansion.
Oh, it's really?
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a giant stone mansion like you would think you would see in England, you know?
Yeah. Like that was like our dream, because that's the shit that we were like, fuck yeah, this is where records are made, man. And so we were able to do that. And then nobody was really watching over us. And it wasn't like, hey, we got a single, we got that, because we were not that band, you know, really. We were just like, no, this song fucking rips. This could be it, you know? Anyway, so long story short, I basically went in. I remember talking, I think it was L.A. Reid at the time. And I was just like, dude, it's a little uncomfortable, you know? Like, he's not our manager anymore. We fired him, but now he's our A&R, but he's not really involved. And he didn't have any idea. So we just kind of got like, well, we got somebody else, and we were like, dude, we don't know who this guy is. He's telling us what we need to write for like a hit. Like, he doesn't hear a single and all this kind of stuff. So you can imagine we weren't doing very well as a band. And
well, when you get passed to another A&R guy and it's not their vision, it's always like, I don't want this fucking band. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And then they try to, you know, form you into something else. You know, you ought to be like, you get some writers in here that did Ariana Grande, and then we'll put some loops down and you'll be on K-Hits. You know, you're like, exactly. What are you talking about? We're a fucking rock band, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, it was just kind of like, we just got lost. Like, we didn't know who we were, you know, kind of thing. And they eventually did let us go, but we had to wait like a year. So there we are in fucking limbo. And they were very gracious enough to give us the album back. So we were very lucky for that. And they were, you know, they didn't have to. They didn't have to at all.
No.
And so, I mean, we had to wait like a year because it's like in the political side of it, and like the, you know, lawyers and stuff. And anytime that kind of happens too, it's just like, what are we doing? You know, it sucks. But it's like, if all that wasn't there, like, we love what we do. So that's kind of what we kept, you know, holding on to. And we still want it. We have a dream, you know, like we want this to happen. And so we ended up putting it out ourselves. So it ended up being, we did it again. We put the second record out ourselves, but it was still like, it felt old at that point because
it's a
we were
year
sitting
old.
on it for a while.
Been in the can.
Yeah.
And now you probably even wrote some newer stuff and you're like, this is better or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And so we're still like dealing with the repercussions of, you know, getting hit so many times, and it just felt a little defeated still, you know, unfortunately. And just like what that does, the morale of a group, you know, it's not fun, you know, and I feel like I had to do something we all didn't really do it. Like we weren't talking as much as like individuals, and like what we thought was, you know, not right, or like things that we saw but we didn't communicate. And so it kind of even more separated us. And then at that point we were just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing, you know? And then we're like, you know, and then our bass player left at that time after that. So that was another thing too. I'm like, fuck, like what are we doing, you know? But at the same time, it wasn't that surprising. It wasn't like he was just like out of nowhere, like I'm done, you know? Like he had other offers to play with other people and stuff. And at that point, like we're not making money, you know, and you got to make some fucking money. Like the loyalty and all that kind of stuff kind of has to go out the window a little bit, you know?
How does Warner's come into play? Were you guys playing gigs? Did you have to showcase that kind of old school shit?
Well, we then signed to Elektra.
What?
Yes. And then because I don't know who it is that got us in touch with them. I think it was our A&R who was at Atlanta. He's a friend of ours forever. His name is Chris Morris, and he's always wanted to help us and stuff. And so he got us connected with Jeff Castells at Elektra. So we ended up signing with Elektra, who's now under the umbrella of Atlantic and Warner. But at that point, like he was the president there, and he left and then he was also a manager. So we were like, dude, can you manage us? Because we don't have a manager anymore. We literally got rid of another set of managers that weren't doing anything. So we were really trying to figure this out, you know, like, okay, we're down a bass player. We have, you know, no more manager. Like we had managers at the time, we had to get rid of them. And so we signed to Elektra, and then the president assigned us left. And then he then ended up managing us. So we're still at Elektra, but was like, is Elektra even really a fucking company anymore? Like it was really confusing. And then they kind of just like put us over to Atlantic. So now we're with Atlantic, and Chris Morris is our A&R. And we've known him forever, you know, we fucking love the dude. He loves us. We're like, fuck yeah, we're finally on some kind of right track again. You know?
Wow.
And then that's what we did the last EP.
Right.
Temporary Things Taking Up Space. And at that point, we were like trying anything we possibly could, because we were just like in the throes of it all. Like, fuck it. Like, I'll write with writers and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I need to learn anyway. Like, we're all self-taught. I'm like, maybe I could figure out something, you know?
Yeah.
And then that in itself kind of separated the band a bit even more, because they're like, why aren't we fucking writing as a band, you know? So it was just kind of a very, very big learning experience, for lack of better words. But so we did that EP. And at that point, things weren't going very good with our managers, or that signed, like, it was really bad. And we were just like, we don't know where, like, we just felt like we were a baby band that nobody liked. Like, that's what it felt like being in a band. I'm like, this is fucking weird, dude. This is not right, you know? And so we're no longer with them. And then Morris now works with Warner.
Unbelievable. Three deals.
Yes.
3 deals. This is so unheard of. It's not like you had like 5 records with like 20 hits and they're like, I'll snatch that up, man.
No.
But there is always, I find that sometimes there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, where if you have people that were fans of your band and they end up working at labels, they're like, well, they just fucked it up. I know how to work this band, and they'll bring you on, which is great, you know?
So that's where we are right now with Chris Morris, and he's the senior vice president too. So he kind of like, he wasn't like, dude, like, this is my job now and you guys fucking, you're in. It was like, you guys have to still prove, because, you know, these people are fucking, if they get behind you, they'll get behind you 100%. And he was completely true to his word. And we worked really fucking hard, and we did some demos, and we proved that we could be, you know, a rock band for them, and they could be a good fit for us as well. And then, you know, back to where I was saying, where we were doing pre-pro and we started recording, and then they were like, dude, here, like, you guys should get started now. Like, you guys are onto something. You guys figured it out. Here you go. And it's so fucking nice to have that, you know?
Great. That's great.
And so, yeah. And so, of course, we want to work even harder, because, you know, how much they're going to do for us. And then we dropped that single, and like, we really wanted to get something out. You know, it's 2020, you know, we're working on new shit, and it's just going to put a fire under our ass even more to finish this fucking album. And I have actually FaceTime with the band and Noah after this, and we're going to start talking about the next pre-pro for the next batch to finish the album.
Right.
So, yeah.
That first record is high octane, man. What's that one? Monumental Holiday. That song is just a punch in the face, man.
Yeah.
and that record was really, really rocking. Sometimes I listen to it and I was wondering who your singers go to. I do sometimes hear a little bit of Cranberries in your voice. Of course, it's radical, you know, but kind of that vibe of melody wise and stuff. Not so much the vocals, but who are your?
I could see that.
Yeah, just a little bit sometimes when I listen to it. Of course, they're totally different, but
yeah.
Songwriting wise, who were your influences growing up? Of course, you know, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, that kind of stuff, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just one of them, you know. Like, I think, like, what really the pivotal moment for me that I was like, holy shit, like, this is who I want to be, is Led Zeppelin. Like, that was a band that I was like, it doesn't get better than this. Like, I need to, like, learn everything I possibly can from Robert Plant. And also, you know, I mean, at the time too, it was like we were really young, and we listened to just like a lot of the like OC punk, like punk rock type, LA, you know, like late 90s, early 2000 type.
Yeah, the
shit,
Vans
you know?
tour stuff.
Yeah, you
Big
know,
time.
like that's what we listened to, like Rancid and all
Great
that kind
band.
of stuff.
Great band.
Yeah,
Tim Armstrong, crushing songwriter.
Dude,
he was at my comedy show a couple weeks ago. I didn't even recognize him. He had a giant beard, and you know, and I was talking to him. I was wearing a Ramones shirt, and he's like, "You like the Ramones?" I go, "Oh yeah, I've seen him like 3 times." And he goes, "Yeah, so I'm 36 times." And I was like, this fucking guy, you know. And then I realized it was because they were opening. They were on tour together.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that was Tim Armstrong. Fuck, he's got a giant beard and shit, man. You wouldn't even recognize him.
I know. I've seen a picture. I've seen a fucking picture.
That Vans Warped Tour really, really helped a lot of bands. It was weird. It's
so true.
It's almost like a pop punk college. You get thrown out on this fucking weird 25 band tour, and it's make it or break it. And each year some bands rise from that. And if you look at the history of the Vans Warped Tour, it is unreal, the bands that have broke out of there. You know, what was it like for you guys?
I mean, growing up, we went to, you know, it was like that summer, like us, you know, and our fucking, and like Susie, like we knew each other back then, like in high school. And us and our buddies would just like make it a thing, like take the fucking the bus down there. I think it was Long Beach at the time,
right?
So we had quite a big trek, but it was like nothing, you know. And God, I can't remember who was playing. Oh my God, I think Glassjaw. It was like The Used. There was some fucking rad. I want to say Refused. I doubt it.
Right.
But there was some I can't remember. I was just like, cool, I'm fucking going. This is so fun. I just get to fucking see music all the time.
Yeah.
And that was like my first time, like I'm like, you know, jump in the crowd and shit, you know, and I was like, this is the coolest thing in the fucking world, you know? So, you know, skip to like 4 years, 5 years later, that was like our first tour.
Unbelievable.
Was doing, yeah. So we jumped on a bus. We shared a bus with Keep Abreast Foundation.
How many dates?
Oh, dude. We almost finished the whole summer. Yeah. And Susie ended up like cracked a couple ribs. Like she, I mean, this bitch is fucking what, 5'6" or some shit. She's frail and she has the heaviest fucking Gibson guitars you could possibly imagine. And I am a wimp. I'm 5'9" and you know, I work out all the fucking time and I'm like a Fender. I'm like, dude, this is hurting my, you know.
You're looking for the
hurting
thin
a little
line.
bit here, dude.
You're like, did they make a balsa wood version of this? You know?
Yeah, 100%. I can get away with it more because it's like, she's one holding down the fucking sound. Like she's got the pedals, she's got the huge ass fucking pedal boards. And I'm just like I play the lead guitar. I stomp on a few pedals here and there that was just kind of like not part of her board anymore. Like, dude, I can take that. And so her rotator cuff and like her ribs, from just rocking out like every single day, you know, and for just way too long. And it's boot camp. It's band fucking boot camp.
It is.
And so we learned a lot. And it was after that we were on tour like for like a year and a half.
You did some great tours. You toured with the Muse, which is a fantastic band. How is that?
Well, oh God, it was so, like going from small rooms and like maybe theaters, depending on like what band you're opening up for. Like that was fucking great. And then Muse going, dude, you want to come on tour? We're like, okay. And you get on stage and you're just like, this is the weirdest thing. It's like you're so far away. Yeah, like you're so far away from the crowd. And I'm like, I have a huge adjustment to make and I have to do it quick. You know, like everything I knew was like, I want people this close to me when I'm playing, you know, like I want the sweat, I want the fucking spit, and I want people yelling. And I just love that. It's like, oh, it just fucking gets me. And so making that like mental, like, like it's fucking 100 feet away from me. I'm like, and I can't go over there. I can't step on his catwalk. You know, Matt Bellany's. It's like a thing. And
I get
it.
The rules of rock.
Of it. Yeah. So
unless you're Skinner, remember the Stones? They told him you can't go out on the ego ramp. And then Ronnie Van Zant was like, "Oh yeah." And on the last song on Freebird, they all just walked down it. And we're giving middle fingers, you know, it's like, here we are, and we're going to blow you off tonight.
Did they get kicked off the tour, or was it?
It was a one show. So Nebworth. So that's why. Yeah. But you got to respect the headliner. I get it because they put up with that, the half sound system, the ego ramps and the don't look at the band when they walk by in the hallway. I've heard that one before.
I can't even. That's so weird to me.
It is weird.
I just don't look me in the eye, kind of a thing.
Yeah. If they talk to you, then talk to them.
Yeah, it's so weird. If I was ever told that, I don't think I could be respectful of that. I'm sorry. Like
I won't be on the tour then. Sorry, we're humans out here. You know, we're not fucking peasant robots. We're all artists at the end of the day. And on the way down, what are you going to do? Tell them, don't look at me. You're fucking, you're on the way down now.
Exactly. Never. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's so, anyway, so Muse was the exact opposite. They were literally side stage watching us, you know.
That's great. That's how it should be.
Rad dudes. Yeah.
So other than Zeppelin, who else was grabbing you?
Well, more recently in the past, like I would say like at that age, but like the Replacements is probably one of my favorite bands now. And there's some songs that I'm just like, if I could just make it sound like a fucking Replacement song, dude, you know?
Yeah. It's great when you find bands later on, right?
Dude.
You're like, holy shit, look at all this I got. This is
Yeah.
great. And people are like, I always tell people I'm jealous. Like if they just discover like say AC/DC, I'm like, God, I'm jealous of you, dude. You got so much gold ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Same thing with like a TV show. If you watch a fucking great TV show, you're like, I wish I could fucking watch that over and over.
Yeah.
You have to wait like 5 years to watch it again to try and remotely feel like what you felt.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for records too, you know, like fucking rad ass records that you would used to fucking listen to. And it was like, and I think I've been kind of going back to that and being like, does it sound the way I remember it did? And then I would listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, this record sounds like shit, but in the best way.
Oh yeah.
Like, but in my head, I was just thought like, this is the greatest fucking sounding record ever. And then you go back and you're like, no, they fucking did this in their fucking rehearsal spot too. You know? This is, it's just all about vibe.
Whenever it's your art or your record, you're like, you know, like you could, I always say this, you could get Rick Rubin and you could get, you know, the greatest, you can get Brendan O'Brien or you could get, you know, any of these guys. And you're like, all right, man, you know, they did these records. So our record's going to sound great. And it's still going to sound like you. And you're like, where's the magic dust? You know, well, it's you. It's just, they're helping you along, but it's still you at the end of the day.
That's right. It was a hard lesson for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely learned that. Yeah. Cause we've talked to, you know, big producers and stuff at the time and, you know, and I mean, that's the end of that, but I didn't, it was just, that's what was like the light bulb, you know, it was like, oh, fuck, wait, they're just going to make us work just as hard as we will work. If we wanted it this much, we'll work very fucking hard. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same difference. They're going to just try and get the best out of you. It's like, well, why don't we just do that at some point? Just get the absolute fucking best, work as hard as you possibly can. And then at that point, if you need some help, reach out, you know? And that's kind of like, that's our mentality now, you know?
It's really all about a great engineer, you know, and then pushing yourself and each band member being able to go like, oh, you know what? I think you could do better on this. And everybody bonding and creating some magic. That's really what it's about. If you talk to a Daniel Lanois, you know, and you're like, well, fuck, man, you're in there doing Octung Baby. Like, what was that about? And he's like, dude, those guys were on another planet, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I was there, but they were channeling something and that becomes a band thing, a chemistry thing. And that's really what it is. And a lot of times the producer just happened to be there at the right time that the chemistry and the lightning was captured in the bottle, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
You ever spin down to Gimme Gimme, Dan's place down there, record store in Highland Park?
Which side is it on? Is it on Figueroa?
I don't know that, you know, I just know how to get there. It's next to like a vegan restaurant. That's great, but it's great. You should go there, man.
I think I know exactly where that is. It's right by, I know. I go to that vegan restaurant all the time. That's why.
Oh yeah. Right. Are you vegan?
I hate to say yes, just because I know, like, I don't want to offend anybody that's like, well, you still have honey and stuff. So I just don't eat meat or fucking, or dairy.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, congrats on doing something I've never heard of, being on 3 major labels.
Thank you, dude.
That's a three-peat right there.
That's right, dude.
I'm looking forward to hearing the new record. And like I said, the debut record was a smasher for a while there, man. It was just really rocking. And congrats. You're still playing music in this horrific time. And it's harder than ever in the world of 360 deals and no touring and no money. My hat is off to you guys and anybody that's out there playing music.
Absolutely, dude.
Have you seen what Wayne Coyne's doing with
No.
Oh, they got the crowd in bubbles.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I did hear about that. I was like, wait, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Because his whole thing is like he was in a bubble.
Yeah, remember that like, at Coachella?
Over the fuck. Yeah.
The human hamster.
Damn, that's gonna be weird. How how do you hear it? Like, is it gonna sound okay?
I don't think they're
In a
that
bubble.
thick. I don't know. Yeah. How do you breathe after a while? Like, there's more great music
really
right
is.
now than ever, I think.
Fucking A, man. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I'm literally blanking on all kinds of stuff because I just go down a rabbit hole and sometimes I don't get their names and I just put them all in playlists and shit.
Yeah.
Just like with comedy, I'm just like, fuck, this is so good. I can't remember names.
I'm the same
and I'm
way.
like, it's so
I got them in
funny.
my phone and they go, what are you listening to? And then I gotta, I'll give you a band. I'll give you a couple bands to listen to that you might dig. I just heard Here Lies Man. Check that band out.
Okay.
Really radical. And then this guy, Brad Brooks put out a record called God Save the City. And then Sadler Vaden, just great every week. I'm like, listen to these goddamn records. These are great.
Sick, dude. Sick. So I love that.
I think the pandemic's given us some good rock.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I love that.
It was great talking to you. Thank you for doing the show. Man. And I can't wait to hear the record, and I'll shout it out when it comes out.
I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you got it. I'll see you soon.
All right.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.